AITA for telling my family I'm not forgetful anymore, I'm just choosing not to be around them? I'm 22M, the youngest of 5, and I have a bad relationship dynamic with them all. The reason? ADHD that went undiagnosed until I was 14 and was then brushed aside, and I was told I was using being diagnosed as an excuse for being forgetful and bad at timekeeping. When they finally accepted the diagnosis was to blame for all the stuff, and I wasn't just being difficult for funsies and was seriously struggling, they became less dismissive and started mocking me for it and bringing it up more than they had when they were actively annoyed and scolding me. When I was younger, I was awful in school, had poor timekeeping and time management, would forget shit all the time and lost my focus frequently. I also struggled to sit in place. I was always fidgeting or something. It was suggested a few times by teachers that I might have ADHD, and my parents said no and they needed to be sterner with me. They'd yell at me when I'd get sent home with notes for not paying attention in class, not finishing work, getting stuff wrong. They'd get mad at me for not remembering we had something on. They'd get mad at me for moving too much. My siblings would taunt me when they knew I'd forgotten something. Sometimes they yelled at me if I forgot something they wanted to know about. I struggled a lot. Getting the diagnosis did help, but treatment didn't start for 2 years, and by then I was so close to done with school that I just accepted I was going to fail my classes, and I started planning what I'd do. Then I lived with 2 years of everyone cracking jokes about it. Some of my siblings even joked that I was useless and worthless, and why did anyone even bother speaking to me? I didn't get to leave as soon as I thought because of COVID, but when I did leave I threw myself into this program for people with poorly managed and treated ADHD, and it helped me. I got support, was able to find a job that worked for me, and I was able to make enough to rent a place with some friends. I stopped engaging with my family at the same time, and it was so freeing. They have invited me to stuff, and sometimes I ignore it while other times I say no. Recently they brought it up to me that I'm forgetting a lot again, and they told me not to make excuses for not showing up. I told them I'm not being forgetful, I'm just choosing to not be around them because they do not make my life better and they add no value to my life. I told them I am tired of being the butt of the joke and have my suffering mocked and laughed about like they didn't ignore what I was going through for so many years. This happened over a family group chat they added me to. Now they're saying how awful I am for not accepting their jokes and avoiding my own family. AITA